So good morning, guys. I'm Nancy Flores, and welcome to today's class. So let's go ahead and get started. As you can see on the presentation, today is May 19th, 2020. Okay, and as we normally do, we're going to start with our prayers, and I'm going to ask you to be in a calm place where you can put all of your attention. And I want you to take a deep breath. Very good. Okay, so in the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Let's remember that we are in the presence of God. Let's honor Him. Okay, so our intentions for today, I want to thank God for allowing us to be present with health, with our families, and I'm going to ask Him to give us the ability to understand everything that we are about to practice. In Jesus' name, amen. San Gio Baptizo Lasalle, pray for us. Leave Jesus in our hearts forever. In the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. Amen. Okay, so moving on. Okay, so today is about grammar. So it's going to be a grammar class, as you probably may know. Okay, so the topic for today is if only I wish. Okay, so the only material that you need, the only object is going to be your student book. But if you need to take some notes, if you want to take some notes, of course you can totally do it in your English notebook. Not necessary, but if you want to take some notes, okay? So I'm going to give you a little time to open up your book on page 165, sorry, 165, and it's about if only and I wish. So I'm gonna go ahead, and as you can see on the presentation, there is dialogue, okay? There's a conversation between Sonia and April, okay? So there's a conversation, and I'm gonna go ahead and put the audio, okay?
Grammar in use. D. Listen and read along. Then circle the correct answer.
I wish I had a baseball cap. If only I had new sneakers, I could run a race. I wish I had a video game. If only I had a music player, I could listen to songs. Wait, what did you say? I wish I had a baseball cap and a music player. I wish I had new sneakers and a video game. Let's trade.
Excellent. Okay, so could you identify what are they talking about? What do they want? What do they wish they have? Since I want you to focus on their belongings. Belongings, I meant about the objects they own. Okay, that's a belonging. What objects they have? As you can see, there is a cell phone. They have some speakers, an audio player or music players, and a baseball cap. Okay, because they wish they have like the other person belonging. Okay, for example, if I ask you who wants a baseball cap, would you say Sonia or April? Okay, or if I ask you who wants a new sneakers, so would you say Sonia or April? Since they want each other's belonging. Okay, so remember, and I want you to have in mind the wish. Okay, and if only and I wish. Okay, so moving on. So remember we are in the page 165, and you can read along with me, okay? So it's about learn grammar, and use, when are we gonna use if only and I wish? Well, we're gonna use it to say how you would like things to be, or how you will have liked things to have been different from the way they really are. For example, if only I had known that, I wouldn't have been afraid, said Aaron. Or another example, I wish we could play video games instead, okay? So remember, have in mind the wish, okay? So, but as well as things, okay, we're gonna use for things you would like to be or how you would have liked things to have been different from the way they really are, okay? So keep in mind, I wish and if only. Another example, if only had packed a bigger lunch, I wouldn't be hungry, okay? But, so, if I ask you, do you know what is a regret, wish, an impossibility, or complaint? It's basically, they're gonna be the uses of it only and I wish, okay? Just to remind you, before, if you are wondering what they mean, well, I can say that what is if you ask me, well, what is a regret, teacher? I can answer, or I can say that it's a disappointment over something that has happened, okay? What is a wish? Well, a wish is a strong desire or hope for something to happen, something that probably won't happen, okay? And an impossibility, well, like the word says, something that it's impossible to happen, okay? And a complaint, well, is dissatisfaction or annoyance about something. Why I'm mentioning these four words? Because it's important for the use of if only and I wish, okay? So if I go back on the presentation, they're giving you some examples, okay? For example, if only I had known that, okay, I wouldn't have been afraid. So would you say that is a regret, a wish, an impossibility, or a complaint? Okay, so it sounds more like a complaint. If only I had known that, I wouldn't have been afraid, okay? Or I wish we could play video games instead. Would you say it's a regret, a wish, an impossibility, or complaints? Remember, these four words are important to know the use of if only and I wish, okay? So I'm gonna put a mini activity, okay? And I want you to focus, okay? For example, the scenario is that we are expecting guests or friends over for dinner in an hour, okay? But our house is a mess and we haven't gone to the market yet, okay? We, for example, if say me or your mom or you, okay? In your house, imagine that you are having a party, okay? You're expecting some guests, friends, and your house is a mess, and you or your mom or your dad or your sister haven't gone to the market yet, okay? So I want you to imagine that scenario, okay? So now the next question is, what do we need to do? What do you need to do, okay, today? Remember, the scenario is that you are expecting friends over for dinner, okay? So, but you haven't cleaned, so your house is a mess. I want you to imagine that scenario and what do you need, okay? For example, if you ask me, what do I need to do? Or if I ask myself, well, what do I need to do? Well, of course, I need to clean. I need to start picking things up. I need to put everything in place. I need to broom. I need to mop. I need to go to the supermarket to buy things because I don't have any I don't have any plans for the dinner. I need to maybe select the music that we are going to listen, and probably I need to tell my husband that we're expecting friends, okay? Maybe that's the things that I need to do, okay? But in your case, what do you need to do? What do you imagine, okay? Or maybe I need to tell my husband that, or you need to tell your mother that you're expecting friends, okay? So keep in mind of that, okay? So, but remember that it's a mini activity and surprise, okay? We don't have time and the friends are here, okay? The friends came so the friends came sooner than expected, okay, than we expected, and they convert in only wishes because we didn't have time to do all of the list that we wanted to do, okay? So like the girls is just dreaming about I wish, okay? For example, I would say to use the I wish and if only I had, okay? For some example, I wish I had cleaned the dining room. I wish I had bought a pizza, okay? Because now I don't have any food to offer to my guests. If only I was better at cleaning because I can see that the house is not proper cleaned. Or if I was better at cleaning. If I could order some burgers. Maybe I don't have a lot of money and they are hungry, they're asking for food maybe. So I wish I can say that if only I could order some burgers because maybe or another like a scenario like maybe they seems not liking the food, okay? So if only I could order some burgers, or if only I have picked up a dessert. Maybe I have a a craving for something, okay? So remember it's during the chat, like, oh, if only I had picked up a dessert. That's what I'm telling you that is important to know the use. I mentioned the regret, a wish, an impossibility, a complaint. So we resume everything, okay? That when we can use if only and I wish, well, it's basically during these four scenarios, okay? For regret, a wish, an impossibility, or a complaint, okay? So I wish and if only I had, okay? So now, moving on, okay? So just to mention what is the structure, or if you have identified what is the structure, because for grammar is important, okay? So if only and I wish. We're going to use the subject, I, you, we, she. Simple past. In this case, we can say that I could, okay? In this case, we're going to use it that this way, we can use it. Or, for example, the ed, if it's a regular verb, or depends if it's an irregular verb, okay? Not necessarily needs to finish with ed. As well as the plus the complement, okay? So in another scenario, we can use if only or I wish plus the subject, that the same subjects that I mentioned, I, we, you, he, she, it, and they. The past perfect, remember what is about past perfect? The had, how severe had, and plus participle, okay? Plus the complement. And if you could have, if you could identify in some moments, some examples, we can add the I would plus past perfect, in this case had participle, the same as the first part, plus complement, okay? So let me put some examples for you, okay? In the case, if only, we can say that if only I had saved some money, I would have bought that nice t-shirt, okay? In your opinion, sounds more a regret, a wish, an impossibility, or a complaint? If only I had saved some money. For me, sounds more like a wish, okay? Or kind of like a regret, okay? Because I regret not saving some money, or I wish I had saved some money, okay? The other example, if only it hadn't rained, we could have gone to the beach. Okay? Sounds more like an impossibility, or I complain. Okay, maybe the person is complaining about something like it rained, but it actually rained, and they're complaining about the rain. Okay, that's what it is mentioning. If only it hadn't rained. Well, actually it rained, so they couldn't go to the beach. Okay, in the case of I wish I had saved some money. I would have bought that nice t-shirt. Or I wish it hadn't rained. We could have gone to the beach. Okay, either you can use the if only or I wish. Okay, but depends on the case that you want to use it. Okay, some exercises. Okay, so this is a workbook exercise. Okay, so you don't have to write it down. We're gonna do it together. Okay, so if only the number one. Okay, if only I had a pet, I would be happier. Okay, so in your opinions, do you think think about why is the person mentioning? Okay, if only I had a pet, I'll be happier. Okay, I will be happier. Okay, happier, that's important word or a clue. Okay, or a hint. So this is Candy. So the fact. Okay, look at the sentence. Candy has a pet. In your opinion, we need to circle, okay, either true or false, or to choose between true or false. So in your opinion, does Candy have a pet? So if I only had a pet, well, it sounds like Candy doesn't have a pet, okay? Which, in the case, Candy has a pet, we say true or false. What is your opinion? I'm gonna give you some moment to think and reflect about this exercise. Okay, so if you mention or if you think it's false, you are correct. Very good. Okay, so moving on to exercise 2. I wish I had eaten lunch. Okay, I wish. Remember, what is a wish? It's a strong desire. Okay, and or hope for something to happen. I wish I had eaten lunch. Okay, so if I ask you, or if I say Steve ate lunch, would say true or false. I wish I had eaten lunch, but in reality, Steve didn't eat lunch. Okay, so Steve, that's why is Steve mentioning that I wish I had eaten lunch. So Steve ate lunch is true or false. I'm going to give you some moment. And if you choose false, you are correct. Very good. So the exercise 3, number 3, I wish I didn't have to study so hard. So I wish I didn't have to study so hard. So if you put attention on the sentence, on the scenario, in the reality, Ali has to study or doesn't have to study. I wish I didn't have to study so hard. If you mention, if you circle, or if you select true, you are correct. Very good. So number 4, if only we lived in a city, we could go to the movies. Okay, if only we lived in a city. Okay, probably Alex doesn't live in, lives in the suburbs. Okay, or maybe it's far from the city. So what do they mean? If only we lived in a city, Alex. So the sentence, Alex lives outside the city, do you think it's true or false? I'm gonna use a moment. If only we lived in a city. Okay. If you circle true, you are correct. The next scenario, number 5. If only I could fly a plane, I have a great job. I will have a great job, sorry. So if only I could fly a plane. If only I could fly a plane. Okay. So what do you think? Bethany can't fly a plane? Is true or false? I'll give you some moment. Very good. If you circle false, you are correct. Why? Because it says it's a wish. If only I could fly a plane. But in reality, Bethany cannot fly a plane. So it's false. Very good. Number 6, the last exercise for the letter B is I wish I knew more about astronomy. Okay. So I wish I knew more about astronomy. So Sulin knows a lot about astronomy. What do you think? Is true or false? Why is Sulin mentioning this desire? I wish I knew more about astronomy. In the reality is that Sulin doesn't know a lot about astronomy. So the sentence, Sulin knows a lot about astronomy, is true or false? Very good. So if you select false, you are correct. Very good. So I'm going to give you some moment, okay, to focus and read all of the sentences, okay? I'm going to read it with you. I kicked a football and broke the neighbor's window, okay? So the 3 first, okay, 1, 2, 3, we're going to use it with I wish. And the second column, we're going to use it with if only, okay? So put attention on the images, okay? And then read it. Okay, for example, you can see there is a broken window, the text has a 0, the grandfather, and the kid is watching the clock, the watch, sorry. And the kid or the boy is getting all wet, and seems like the girl is visiting the dentist. Okay, put attention on the images. And now we're gonna read it together. So the first exercise is I kicked a football and broke the neighbor's window. Okay, so the second is I didn't study for the test. I failed it. I didn't remember my grandfather's birthday. I was late and I missed the start of the movie. I went out in the rain without a jacket and I got wet, and I didn't take care of my teeth. And now I have a cavity, okay? So we're gonna work together and identify, okay? If I say I wish, so I kicked a football, broke and the neighbor's window, okay? Well, the reality is that it's broken, okay? You kicked and you broke it. So what is something that maybe you regret doing it, that if you want to use the wish, I want to give you some moment to, if you could, I'm sure you can. So like I said, I'm sure you can answer it by yourself. Remember to use the I wish and the structure, okay? So I wish and if only, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead with you and give you the answers, okay? You can pause the video, do it by yourself, or let me go ahead and go next and put the next presentation, okay? So for example, I kicked a football and broke the neighbor's window. Well, in the reality, maybe the boy or you broke the window. Okay, imagine that if you broke out the window, well, of course, it's gonna be a regret, okay? So you can mention, I wish I hadn't kicked a football and broken the neighbor's window, but the reality is that you kicked, okay? The person kicked a football and broke the neighbor's. Very good. So I didn't study for the test and I failed it. It's a wish, we're gonna use it, okay? So in this case, we can use I wish I had studied for a test. I wouldn't have failed it, okay? So remember, it can be a regret, it can be a part of a wish, it can be an impossibility, or it can be complaining, okay? Remember the use. So I didn't remember my grandfather's birthday. Can you imagine forgetting your grandfather's birthday? So in that scenario, imagine that happened to you. You can say, I wish I had remembered my grandfather's birthday. Maybe now you're feeling sorry for that to happen. That's when you can mention it. I wish I had remembered. Can you identify that after the wish we're using had and remember that makes past perfect, okay? So I was late, moving on to the next scenario. I was late and I missed the start of the movie, okay? In this, the last three exercises, we're gonna use if only, okay? So the boy was late, okay? That's why he missed the start of the movie. Well, you can say, if only I hadn't been late, I wouldn't have missed the start of the movie, okay? Probably won't happen, okay? So it's part of wish, okay, as well. So I went out in the rain. If you can see, the boy is all wet, okay? So that's when we can say, if only hadn't gone in the rain without a jacket, I wouldn't gotten wet, okay? So I didn't take care of my teeth and now I have a cavity. Well, if only I had taken care of my teeth, I wouldn't have a cavity, okay? Very good. Okay, so as a final conclusion, remember, just to wrap up, remember the use of if only and I wish. Okay, remember to keep practicing the structure, identify the structure, which is important. But remember as well that when are we going to use it? Well, for regrets, for wishes, for impossibilities and complaints. To remind you, regret is a disappointment over something that has happened. A wish is a strong desire or hope for something to happen, probably won't happen, okay? An impossibility, like the word says, something impossible to happen, and a complaint. So it's a dissatisfaction or annoyance about something, okay? As a final conclusion, I can tell you that. Remember the structure, if you're using the if only or I wish, okay? So in some cases, you can say only, if only I went to bed earlier, in that case, you're using the simple past, or you can say it as well as past perfect, if only I had gone to the bed earlier, okay? So, but in the same scenario, it's part of a regret, a wish, or impossibility, or a complaint, okay? Just to finish, before finishing, you have a little homework, okay? It's only for to answer the exercise E, student book, page 165. I'm gonna give you an example, okay? I wish I hadn't eaten all the chocolate cake. You need to think about if something, why is, for example, in this case, Kevin saying, okay, I wish I hadn't eaten all the chocolate cake. So think about it, if the, why is the person, or in this case, saying it, okay? I wish I hadn't eaten. Well, basically it means that the person didn't eat or did eat all the chocolate cake, okay? Maybe Kevin is having a stomach ache, okay? Maybe, yes, the stomach hurts. And in what scenario will say that? Okay, I wish I hadn't eaten all the chocolate cake, okay? So think about it. Did Kevin eat the chocolate cake or did Kevin didn't eat it, okay? So did Kevin eat all the chocolate? Yes or no? What is your opinion? Is yes or no? Okay, you only need to circle one on another and that's it. And just as a final exercise, okay? So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Please don't forget to send your evidences, okay? Just a photo of the exercise answered and that's pretty much it, okay? So remember, if you have a question, you can of course, you feel free to send an email to us, okay? First, to Miss Nancy, in my case, and Miss Aime, Miss Gaby at ircumbres.edu.mx, okay? So again, remember to send your evidences, and if you have a question, let us know. And well, I hope you liked the video and see you real soon. Bye-bye.